We can get them outside now because the rainy weather. You go down here and you might be able to get a bucket.
Okay, okay, I sped up about 50 minutes here, 5 times. But what I want you to notice or observe is, how these clouds create our sky or our ceiling. I want to say ceiling, and how this ceiling is actually being pinched off to the surface of the water. It's where everything converges. Now, another thing to take into consideration is the amount of magnification that is actually going on in here too. The visible hard water line is another thing that changes due to this magnification. So the horizon can seem to be closer than what it actually is at times, due to this magnification with all the water molecules in the air. Water does magnify things, there's no doubt about it. Also, water is a mirror. It does mirror the sky. That's something too to look at, is the reflections off the water. Plus two, when you get to a certain angular resolution, and because of our um, water density or the humidity in the air, the water at above the visible water line creates another mirror. So you have actually like two mirrors here. And that mirror out at the horizon above that visible water line is actually like a mirror block. It actually ramps things up. In other words, it redirects your vision upward, slightly. Not a lot, but slightly enough to create different horizon lines. And this is something that I noticed through all these hundreds, if not thousands, of observations that I've done. Now, I get trolls that say, well, why don't you go out and film these large ships? Well, what's easier to do, film a large ship or film small boats? It's harder to film a small boat going out 11 miles than it would be a big, tall ship going out 11 miles. And, this is something that I try to bring to people's attention. I usually film the same location, not here all the time, but the corner that you see, the land sticking out that you see, is another little park area at Bayport, and I do a lot of filming on that corner. I recently started doing a lot of filming on that corner, but the other place I film is to the right of that, which is out in front of that aluminum boardwalk that I've showed in previous videos. And believe me, I do get as close to the water as possible. That area that sticks up on the corner right there may be just a foot or two above the water, but at times the water rolls right in there, so you could consider that sea level. And another thing too is look at how the light changes when I move the camera. That also plays a role in the light of the sun bleeding through the clouds. And as you see here with the light bleeding through, it's a big blob of light in the sky, which is reflected off the water as a big blob of light in the sky. But you also got to look at the stretching of the reflection, how it is stretched out, and not perfect picture of what's above. So it is a angled resolution um, reflection of the clouds. In other words, it's kind of a dragged out, stretched out version. Okay. And then you can get, like in the House of Mirrors, if you go in a House of Mirrors, how you step in front of one mirror, it'll stretch you out long and skinny, and you step in front of another one, it'll make you all short and squatty. And actually, if you step into some of the other ones, parts of you disappear, you vanish. And that's exactly what happens above that visible water line, is you cannot see the water that's there, but it's obvious that these boats are on the water and they're getting mirrored. And within that mirror, because of that deflection of your vision, it blocks you out from seeing the lower hulls of these boats. And also, too, what happens is within that invisible water, you know they're on the water because these boats ain't flying in the sky, and they sure to hell ain't being reflected back up from behind any curvature, because I got too much proof of boats being actually on the water when the mirroring is not really bad, and you can literally see these boats floating on top of that water line. And you also can watch boats that are on that hard water line, but they stay on that hard water line and just continue to get smaller and smaller and smaller until they actually vanish into the water. They melt into the water. They don't go over the curvature of that water. And this is visual proof that I've provided. Why some of the other, well, I'm not even going to go there. But, you know, some of the other channels, I guess, don't look at my visual proofs. Either that or they don't like me or something. I don't know. But again, I don't really want to go there. That's up to them what they want to do. But you know, my whole thing is about visual observational proofs and how this horizon line changes. And I think I've documented it, you know, quite well. I've done my observational research. I apologize for not being able to share some of the research that I've done on, you know, in different sites. I just don't have the tools, the computer tools, and I don't have the computer skills to bring up some of this research that I have done. But believe me, I've done my research into these different effects. And what I find is that, you know, we don't, you know, science will give you an explanation of it, and really, is it the true explanation? Because I find what they're trying to explain to us, or what they tell us, does not match my observational research. So observations to me means a lot, and that's why I call this really observable science or observational science, flat earth science, because you cannot detect any curvature. The light can cause an appearance or an illusion of a curvature, but there is no curvature to be detected out there. If I have a curvature 3 miles out in front of me curving down, and a boat's supposed to go beyond that and hide underneath it or get cut off by the curve, I can't find it because I've
Clouds
sometimes
coming in
it's hard
now.
to get a good focus on
Yeah,
this.
now the clouds are going to roll across. We might get the sun as it goes down. What time is it?
You can't see on it
Yeah,
because
we probably
it's
got
on the
about 20
camera.
minutes.
Look at that. Show you the mirror here. Yeah. Look at that mirroring.
Well, I've seen this area change like 5 times now.
Yeah.
You know, the population changed like 5 times.
Oh,
What
here?
it's like, yeah. Now it's very Hispanic here. Very Hispanic. It used to not
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with
I don't have
different
No, I don't have
nationalities.
a problem,
Hey, if they're
but
good
it's,
people, they're
yeah,
good people.
it's just I'm saying it's changed. It's changed so much.
But yeah, I know. I know. I worked here when I was. I started working up here when I was like 17. So I've been in this area for
Right.
a long freaking time. And when I first moved up to Spring Hill and started working up here, they didn't even have street signs. The way we found it is our boss would tell us to go down Spring Hill Drive to the 6th Street on the right. Make a right, go down 3 streets. It's the only house on the block. Make a left and it's the only house on the street. So we'd find the house and
Yeah.
get out and start putting in the sprinkler system.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe the mirroring right here I'm catching.
You ever
Big
catch
time.
the green flash, bro?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I seen it a couple
Oh,
months
yeah.
ago. I was out here. I seen it.
I catch the sun in that little sliver out there too.
Right between the two jetty signs.
Yeah.
I just figured out that's what you were gonna say.
There's Bayport bird rack right there. Can you see the Bayport bird rack out there?
No.
It's right here. Can you see my camera? Here, take it, come in a little closer for you.
Wow, dude.
And you see all that distortion in it?
Yeah,
And you see it all mirroring?
Yeah,
You see
yeah.
the top of this sign's down there? It's all a mirror.
Why can't I see that out there?
Because it's 3.5 miles out there.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you're looking into the light, so you can't really
It's
see
like right
it.
over here by the right next to that green sign. The
Yeah.
green yeah.
Yeah, it's way out there.
Way
though.
out there. That's like the ones. You ever been to the ones that were out off of Newport Richie? The old shacks that were out there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at this boat going by way out in the distance, too. See it?
Yeah.
He's all mirrored.
Wow.
I look for them clouds that are right on the
That's
edges.
got to be a shrimp boat out there, huh? Over there, leaving her
Yeah.
on the beach. Them are shrimp boats out there, going out. I used to have a friend of mine that was a shrimper,
Look at that mirror.
and he was my roommate, and we were young, and we partied all the time. So he would, he didn't like the light and the noise, so he bought himself a coffin, and he slept in the coffin. Dude.
No way.
I swear to God.
No way. Oh my
He
God.
would sleep in the coffin during the day.
Dracula.
Yeah.
Was that high?
Yeah.
Count Dracula.
I just got it.
I do a lot of observations from this particular area due to the fact that I bought navigation maps to where I know how far away all these beacon lights slash bird racks are. I call them bird racks because a lot of the birds that are way out there, they like to land on it. Why? Because they need to take a break. And also by knowing the distances and also having all these channel markers and signs and everything, it gives me, reference points that I can go by. And this was one of the reasons why I thought maybe, some of the other flat Earth channels would be wanting to use my footage, and I allow it. I put this footage out. Look at this. I put this footage out. I mean, those boats are well apart from each other. But I put my observational footage out so people can use them. And I've offered any Glober, any Globe Zealot to come out and join me and see that my camera is usually at, sea level. The camera tripod and everything, it only sticks up 5.5 feet. Hell, I'm only 5'8", 5'8", so I can't have it up much higher than that. Otherwise, I got to take a damn little step with me or something so I can stand on it. But I have no reason to lie to myself about the location and the height of my camera. And even in some of my videos, I've actually got my camera set down to the next notch, or even down even lower. Sometimes when the tide's way out and I can get out to the edge of the water, or out into where I can put my camera down right next to the water. And I've got some footage that I'd like to share one day too, that I did that, and how that mirroring effect really stood out like a big sore thumb. I mean, it really mirrored, everything mirrored, due to the fact that I put my camera at a lower setting, and the angular resolution, or that water, became invisible and just became a mirror. And I'll try to put that footage out here soon too, being that after this rain and the humidity is set in here in Florida, I'm no longer going to be able to have any really good visibility days unless we have some really dry air come in. Now, people ask me to, record the temperature, the dew point, the barometric pressure. I got to say that sometimes it doesn't seem to matter, because I've gotten some really long distance footage, even during windy weather, where the water's out there, that it's really windy and it's choppy. I've still gotten some really good footage of long distance objects, long distance boats. And the big thing is here is look at this mirroring of that water. Now, again, I think the horizon line's actually up higher, but because of the magnification, it's pulling in that horizon closer to me, so it's even cutting off more of that horizon. So we got to look at visibility as our tool to shooting far off distant objects or far off distant lands, because that is the key, is visibility. If you have crap for visibility, you're not going to get very far out there. And if there's a lot of humidity in the air and haze, you're going to get blocked off by that haze. And there's no doubt about it in my mind. Even look at this picture right here, where those clouds, when I zoom out, how the closer clouds go up, and you can still see this angle that these clouds are parallel to the ground. Yes, we have different levels of clouds. You have your upper clouds. You can have 3 or 4 different layers of clouds. At least I've seen that in Florida. But here I've got some the regular audio coming back up, so I'm going to let that play out, so I don't have to talk all the way through this. But I just wanted to bring some things to your attention, because a lot of people don't pay attention to the smaller detail, and that's what I pay attention to. I watch a lot of my videos several times and really look at this detail. Even right here, look at this. What science tells us is if a man is 6 foot tall standing on the edge of the water, right, on the shore of the water, he can only see about 3.14 miles out. and you see in a circle around you, right? So that's 6.28 miles that you can see in a circle around you. But the funny thing is I go right over here with my camera, and I don't know if you know Cutter's Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 11.05 miles out.
And you
I
can,
zoom out with this and catch it.
you can catch it. But I think it is if you could see to the horizon line. I think the horizon line is something like 17.9 miles out is the actual horizon line.
I think it's farther out than what science tells us, but they say that you only can see 3.14
Yeah, but you
miles.
can only see 3.1, but the horizon line is like 17.5 miles.
It's a lot farther than what science is telling me. I'm a flat earther. I think we live in a plane.
No.
Yeah, I don't go along with the globe. You know why? Because you and I will never go up into no spacecraft and look back at Earth and see us spinning.
We won't.
We'll never do that. We'll never be able to get that chance.
We won't.
But so there's only like 500
in the sky, dude.
There's only 550 people that's ever been into space. So 17 billion people believe them and believe the footage that they spend back. But do you know how good they are at CGI? They could be fooling us all.
They ain't doing that, man.
I don't know.
I know they're.
I don't know.
I know they're limited.
I don't trust them.
They tell us. They
I don't
tell
trust
us
them.
everything. I know that, but there's
They're
things that they
they're all
can't hide.
They're all about.
They wouldn't be able to hide it for millions and millions and millions of years. I'm sorry.
Well, millions. They never even had the technology to go until what, 69? And I got more. There's more.
No, but I'm saying that
there's more technology in my cell phone than they had when they went to the moon. In my cell phone.
they got more. I think they learned more about the star. They knew more about the stars back then than they do now.
Shoot, the ancient people knew more about the stars than we do now.
Hold on, dude. I seen this thing today. They're talking about these big stones, these giant stones, and showing what it takes to move. You know,
Yeah.
what it takes for us to move a 100,000-pound stone. You know,
And they did it with. They moved.
They're showing stones that are like friggin' 10 times the size. I figured it out, dude. I know how they did it. I know how they moved them. Sound.
Or electromagnetic.
Electromagnetic and sound. And sound waves. Sound waves can move.
So what I say is, we were told that these ancient people were stupid, right? Right out of supposedly the Stone Age, they built the city of Baalbek. That's the one with these stones the size of semi-tractor trailers.
Right.
How did they move them then? If they were, ooga, with damn clubs and shit. Yeah, right. So
Now they're
see a lot of the history that we're fed.
Now I seem they're saying that the pyramids weren't a temple for somebody's death. It was a chamber where they, because of the way it's constructed, it
was like a power plant.
Yeah, they would put hydrochloric acid and zinc sulfide together, and it would boil and create hydrogen.
and we think they were stupid, right?
Yeah.
No, they were a lot more intelligent than what we give them credit for.
Yes, they were. There's certain books that have disappeared and.
Oh yeah, well, they say during the Dark Ages everything was destroyed, right?
Yeah, the Dark Ages, and then when
Alexander's Library,
right? Alexander's Library got taken over. That was during the Crusades.
Yep, got burnt down is what they tell us.
And then a lot of stuff in Russia was when the Tsars.
See some of the
when they took over the Tsars, they destroyed a lot of stuff. They burnt the Tsars' houses down with priceless stuff, man.
Oh yeah,
priceless stuff in there. Where else? The Germans.
See, I think we were brought up in what I call a belief system where.
I think the belief
we were taught
clouded, yeah, because you can see that in history.
Yeah.
Through what history has taught us and what history really is.
Well, in science, when they showed you you know, the model of the globe, right, with a big chunk of it taken out, and they show you